All right, I'm interviewing Aral Balkan about SWX, basically.
Hi, Kai.
So, hi, Aral.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you? Do you maybe just want to tell the people a little bit about SWX and what it is and how it works and what people can do with it actually? And show maybe some stuff on your laptop?
Sure. SWX is a new native data format for Flash. So what that means is if you're familiar with JSON, for example, for JavaScript, it's the JSON alternative for Flash. JSON is native for JavaScript, so it's easy to work with. But SWX goes one step further because you don't have to eval it or you don't have to parse it. The moment your data loads, it loads inside of a SWF and it's ready for you to use in native objects. So that's what SWX is, Kai.
That sounds actually pretty cool. So should we have a look at your laptop maybe and show a little
sure. Bit? Here. This is the SWX PHP start page. SWX PHP is one implementation of SWX RPC, the remote procedure call protocol encoded in SWX format. So there is actually an online version of this on the SWX format homepage as well that you can use without installing anything, but this is running on my computer. When it starts up, you can see here that it's really friendly. It's telling you that it's working. It does its own tests, and there are different links to important areas. One of the coolest things is the SWX Service Explorer. So the SWX Service Explorer is a Flex 2 application that lets you explore and test the services or APIs that are running on your installation of SWX PHP. So for example, if I want to test the Flickr API that comes with SWX, I can, for example, let's find the photos get recent method, and I can hit call. Now I don't think we have an internet connection here, so if I do this, it's going to try and hit the Flickr API from Flickr and get the results back, but since we're not connected, it probably is not going to return. But if we were connected, yeah,
that's fine.
It would get the results back. And this is really great because, like I said, it also exists on the SWXformat.org website. So if you want to build mashups with the SWX APIs that already exist for Twitter, for Flickr, here we go, it's returned. It's actually just really slow. Our network connection is really slow. So there are the 100 most recent photos, a list of them from Flickr. And if I were to copy like the source from one of them into the browser, that should, again, it's very slow, but it should load the latest, that photo. There you go, it's loading it from Flickr. So the cool thing about this is with the Service Explorer, you can test your services that you're building as well without building a Flash client to see that your backend is working properly before you build a Flash client. But if you do want to work in Flash, and this is very impromptu, it's very simple. So I have an FLA here, and all I need to do to get that same information into Flash, if I can find my stage, oh, it's a 1x1 stage, I was just working on something, so let's make that 100x100. If I want to work with this in Flash, I can just create a movie clip over here, and I'll call that movie clip loader. And in my actions, all I have to do is specify the service class that I want to load, that I want to call, which in this case is the Flickr class on the back end, and the method I want to call, which is, let's see what it is. This is where the SWX Service Explorer comes in handy. It's SWX Photos Get Recent. So SWX Photos Get Recent, and it doesn't have any arguments to pass it. I'm going to turn the debug mode on, so I'll say debug equals true, and I'll show you why in a second. And then all I do is I load movie to the SWX gateway, currently to the one running on my machine, which is running at localhost 8888 /PHP /SWX PHP, and I'll make a get call for that. That is all you need, basically, to call that method on that class on the back end and get the results back in a SWF, in SWX format. So the debug equals true that I set over here, what that does is it makes the results that load into Flash display in the SWX data analyzer. Now the data analyzer is another application. I'm just exiting out of anything that might be using SWX data right now because you need to run the SWX data analyzer first. This is the SWX data analyzer. It's a Flex 2 application again, and it's for debugging. So if we now go in, and if I run this, if I test my FLA, let me see if I labeled this correctly. That is called loader, and that's a symbol. And we are doing a loader load movie over here. And of course, again, this was an FLA that I'd opened up earlier, so this is Flash 8 and ActionScript 2. It should be not Flash 9. So if I run this now, this is very impromptu, Kai. I wasn't ready for this. And it's loading the data right now. Again, it's really slow, but once the data has loaded, it will actually show up in the data analyzer over here. There we go. The data's loaded, and there's all the data that we have. And you can see it's, again, results, and it's native object. So if you want to get the URL for the first image, you would say result.photo 0th index dot source. So if we want to display that inside of Flash, I can do that very quickly for you with a hack. I can say function on enter frame, and we can just check here if loader.result not equal to undefined. And let me null out the on enter frame here if it isn't equal to on result, so it doesn't keep checking for it. We can do something like maybe create another movie clip and display. I'm going to make my canvas larger so we can actually see it, and display the image that's loaded. So I'll call this movie clip image, and over here in the actions I'll say image load movie. Let's make the actions larger. Image load movie, and I want to get the loader result. What was it? Let's check here in the data analyzer. Result.photo 0.source, right? Result.photo, the first photo, the source of it, and I just want to load that into the image, and that's all I would have to do. So I'm going to run this now, and it's going to go, and of course there's no status indicator or anything, so we're just waiting. But once it's loaded the data, it's going to load the image into that other the other movie clip that we have here called image. So let me bring that back. Empty Swift. There we go. Yeah. So basically that's going off and doing its own thing. We have a very slow connection, but that's how simple it is. And of course there is a high-level API as well, high-level language for working with it as well, and that's how it's recommended to work with. But this is just showing you that it's native. I didn't import any libraries, I didn't import any classes or anything, and yet it still works. So it is taking its own sweet time to to load that. But again, that's because our network is slow. So that's basically just a little taste of SWX. And like I said, the important thing is there are all these APIs. You can go on the website and you can just, here we go, it's worked! Yay, it worked! There we go, there's an image that was loaded in from Flickr. And that's almost instant if you have a regular network connection. Here at Max, we've got it maxed out. Haha, no pun intended. Cool. But if you look at the code, I mean, that's nothing, right? That's what 6 lines of code. That's because it's native. We don't have to parse the data at all. It actually comes in Swift format. Yeah, so if any of you are at Max and are watching this, are you going to put this up before Max? At Max? Okay, so last day, Wednesday, last session, I'm going to be talking about this stuff, so come on down and see it. But that's it. That's basically SWX, and there are lots of APIs that you can hit without downloading anything, so you can build your own mashups with it very easily. And now there's SWX Ruby, which is a Ruby implementation for Ruby on Rails that's in alpha, and actively being worked on are SWX J2EE and SWX.net as well. So check it out.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Kai.